Walk into any woods, and your eyes tell a simple story. Every trunk stands alone. We've assumed these plants are locked in a ruthless competition, racing each other upward to steal a fraction of the sunlight. But if you look closely at the forest floor, the math of that competition breaks down. Tiny saplings routinely survive for decades in the deep shade of the canopy, completely cut off from the light they need to produce their own food. Further away, a healthy pine suddenly begins flooding its own needles with toxic defensive chemicals. It's bracing for an insect attack, currently destroying a neighbor miles down the ridge, even though no bugs have actually crossed the distance. These anomalies do not fit the model of solitary rivals. They point to a massive, invisible infrastructure operating right under our boots. To see how they actually survive, we have to look past the trunks and drop below the surface. Woven through the dirt is a vast, living structure called the Mycorrhizal Network. These are microscopically thin fungal threads that wrap around tree roots, physically tying dozens of different species together across acres of land. The dirt is alive with traffic. This fungal web operates as an active biological highway, constantly routing data and supplies from one end of the woods to the other. The most crucial function of this infrastructure is economic. Trees use it to execute biological transactions. This animated diagram shows exactly how the exchange works. A large canopy tree absorbs abundant sunlight, converting it into a massive surplus of carbon. Meanwhile, a smaller sapling sits in heavy shade nearby, starved of resources. Unable to use all that energy, the large tree flushes the excess carbon straight down its trunk, pushing it out through its root tips and directly into the waiting fungal web. The shaded sapling then pulls those precise nutrients out of the network, securing the energy it needs to stay alive without direct access to the sun. This transfer is driven by strict chemistry. Nutrients naturally flow along chemical gradients, moving away from areas of high concentration in the mature tree toward the low concentration in the struggling sapling. The forest actively redistributes its own wealth to ensure the collective survival of the ecosystem. The solitary competitor model simply fails to capture this reality. Sharing food is a slow, steady process, but when a sudden threat arrives, the network switches to high-speed data transmission. A sudden infestation breaks out. Swarms of insects land on a single isolated tree and begin tearing rapidly through its foliage. The physical damage triggers an immediate, invisible reaction. The wounded tree releases sharp chemical distress signals, flooding them down its trunk and straight into the fungal connections below. These chemical alerts race through the root structures at incredible speed, branching out in every direction to reach untouched trees miles away. The neighboring plants detect the specific chemical signature of the incoming alarm and react instantly. They begin pumping their own leaves full of bitter, defensive toxins before a single insect ever touches their bark. It acts as an early warning system, scanning for pressure points, broadcasting actionable data across entirely different species to protect the whole. When you see resources being shared and defenses being coordinated, it is easy to assume the forest possesses a conscious intelligence, or that the trees are choosing to help each other out. But trees do not think. They don't make decisions, and they have no concept of community. This animated flowchart maps what is actually happening. Millions of years of blind evolutionary refinement built rigid chemical responses. Signals resulting in survival are mathematically reinforced over generations, creating complex loops functioning without a central brain. This is coordination without a central command. High-level organization arises through chemical triggers alone, allowing resources to move and warnings to spread, without the need for a single conscious thought. If we accept the evidence buried in the soil, the definition of a forest changes. The forest operates as a decentralized, unified biological system. Above the soil, the trees are distinct individuals. Below it, they function as integrated components of a single organism. The next time you step into the woods, remember what lies beneath your boots. You are standing on an ancient, hyper-connected network, quietly shaping the survival of everything around you, one chemical pulse at a time.
Help us reach the target of 150 subscribers. Don't forget to like and share this video.